where you got more space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see them pretty close to this.
You know, they're giving we're down on the river.
How old is your baby now? Okay.
15 months.
He's how old?
15 months. He started crawling at 5.5. But he didn't walk for a year, which was great. But he is like
Keeps his mom
running
busy.
now. You know, it's just like runs from one room to the next.
You gotta catch him up.
Yeah, Hannah's they're doing swim lessons this week, like real early mama babies, you know, just get them used to the idea that water isn't scary, but be capable. So
Does he like it?
he was cautious, which I was very glad to hear. But then when she was like jumping into the water, you know, holding him, apparently he loved that.
He would, huh?
Last night, I think he was remembering it, trying to tell me about it, like jumping up and down.
Does he say mama or dad?
Yeah, he does a lot of sign language. So he tells us quite, you know, he tells us what he communicates quite a bit with sign language. He says mama, he says outside, says, he has a word for cows. He likes to see cows, dog, daddy. It's a handful, probably more that he's trying to understand what he's saying.
I'm by fast, huh?
It has. This age is great. I'm not really a baby person, so toddlers.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the city council meeting for Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 at 6:30. I'll stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a moment of silence, please? Roll call.
Member Diana Castaneda,
Here.
Councilmember Sophie Sotelo. Councilmember Mary Alvarado,
Here.
Councilmember Vera Zavala,
Here.
Councilmember Arturo de la Fuente. Here. Mayor Rachel Ruelas.
Here. So Sophie is out and we can get a motion to have her excused. Family emergency. Your motion.
I'll make a motion that we excuse Sophie.
I have a motion by Vera,
Second.
and a second by the rest of the council. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. So if I want to go ahead and get a vote on the meeting agenda, but before I do, we want to go ahead and amend old business C. We're gonna add B, let's see, approving and authorizing premier property management and construction for our sprinkler system.
Under old business?
We're gonna go ahead and go,
Or new business?
that would go under, that's old business, but we're going under the new, correct? Old business. Mhm. And then, what was the other one? Patty?
The consent agenda adding C.
Okay. C, the vision quote in the amount of 22,596. With 84 cents. Okay, so I can get a motion on that. On the meeting agenda. Okay, so we're gonna,
No, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
okay, so we need to get a motion on the meeting agenda.
Here we go. Motion on the meeting agenda, and then we're gonna do the. Or you're gonna add C.
We're adding C
And
Mhm.
old business.
and old business.
On whole business, and C on whole business.
No, it's C on old business.
C on old business.
That's the sprinkler,
Mhm.
And then C on vision for use.
and sprinkler system.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Diane, second by Vera, all in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So we're gonna go ahead and go on to work on the consent agenda. I need a motion for A through C.
I make a motion on the consent agenda on A through C.
A motion by Diane,
Are you bringing, is C gonna be on new business or old business?
C
The sprinkler system.
is on the new,
Old.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what's
old.
C on this one? What's C on the new business?
Vision.
Vision, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That was for the sprinkler system, right?
Got the red, that's why.
Was that for the sprinkler
system?
system?
Sprinklers is
So,
on.
sorry.
Old,
That's
On
okay.
the old one.
and then, the vision on the new one. So that would be C. The vision's on C and B
B
on
is-
O.
I have a template. I find this. Sorry, so I have a motion by Diane,
Second.
second by Vera, all in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carried. So this is gonna be, five, any visitors' comments? Any visitors today? ¿Visitas? ¿Quieren decir algo?
No.
Okay,
Is it approved?
okay, all right. You guys are waiting patiently. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, is there anybody online? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go on to 6, the public hearing. So we will start our public hearing at 6:35. And this is for the Foresight rezone R-1 residential district to RH2 high density residential district and go ahead and let Aaron take it from there.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. My name is Byron Gums. I'm with the Yakima Valley Conference of Governments. I prepared the staff report for the proposed rezone. It was heard by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the rezone. Essentially, it's about 8 acres that is vacant just north of Arts Box Elementary School. The applicant is proposing to change the residential zoning from low-density residential to high-density residential. There was no change of the comprehensive map, future land use map designation required. So it's residential land, so that the R1 and the R2 are both consistent with that designation for the land. And ultimately, what it does is it allows for future development on the site to be of a higher residential density, allowing for more apartment units to be placed on property than if it were to remain R1 zone. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. I know that the applicant and his representative are also in the audience this evening, if you would want them to speak
I have
to their proposal.
questions.
Are you guys gonna extend Adams Street clear to Vance Street?
So for the rezone, that wouldn't take place if during subsequent development of the property. Then that's something that would be looked at and determined at that time if it was necessary. We would look at engineering reviews and see if that's a requirement. Or if it's something that the existing street system would accommodate the traffic that goes through the area. But the short answer is, I don't know. There hasn't been any proposed development on the site. I know what the applicant is intending to do, but the review of that will come at a future time if the rezone is approved. We would be looking at those sorts of things when the development applications come in, whether it's a subdivision or application for apartment complexes or what have you.
Any questions? Dan, Mary?
No.
I know this has been a long one. It's been going on for quite a while.
Just a few months now.
Is it? Right. I don't have any questions. Public comments, anybody? All right, we'll go ahead and go on to New Beginnings 31. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end that one at 6:39. And move on to New Beginnings. 31 dot, or dash, lot subdivision. And that one will start at 6:39 as well.
For the record, once again, my name is Byron Gums. I'm with the Yakima Valley Conference of Governments, and I was the individual who prepared the staff report for this proposal. It did go in front of the Planning Commission for an open record hearing, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the 31 lot subdivision. In addition to the subdivision, there was also, if you remember, the Genoa's Paradise subdivision that Mr. Castellanos applied for, and he had to go through the process to reduce the standard requiring alleyways in that subdivision. Similarly, this subdivision, they applied for removal of that standard, so there are no alleyways with the subdivision, but both the subdivision and the request to not have alleyways were both recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. The staff report also recommended approval for the subdivision and then the removal of the alleyway requirement. As mentioned, it's a 31 lot subdivision. Lot sizes are right around the 7,000 square foot range. I think the smallest one's right around 6,700 square feet. The largest one's right around 7,800 square feet. It's intended to be developed with single family homes. It's proposed to be split into 3 phases. If you look at the larger sheet that you have there, Sevilla Street, George Street, and Skillstead Street are going to be extended to the east. And then a new north-south road, Herrera Street, is going to be built along the eastern property line. It's effectively a half street with, in order for the street system to align, so you don't have offset intersections, where High School Road has the 2 90-degree turns. If where it goes in front of the old high school, that first turn, if you look at the map that I provided here, as well as the proposed subdivision here, in order for the right of ways to align, so it would be a good road system, there is reduced with the right of way that is being dedicated, and a road that isn't fully built out is going to be built. So when the property to the east gets developed, they'll complete that road, but the construction of it will allow for 2-way traffic as well as a sidewalk on the western side of the road. But that's in order to not burden the developer with the cost of the complete road when it isn't fair to do so.
So Sevilla, George, and Skystad, these are gonna come straight across this way?
Correct.
Okay. And,
So if I may,
okay,
You can see here where the existing is the shaded and the darker colors where they'll be extended.
Mhm.
And then Herrera Street is on the south, and that is right away that's going to be dedicated, but he's not gonna have to build that out until this completely gets developed.
okay. So then they'll still be using the same entrances as of right now? The
So-
same, or will they be a new entrance?
So there will be, so the first phase is Sevilla Street, so you can see phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, kind of in the roads is where it's written. So phase 3, phase 2, phase 1. So each phase is required to be built out as though
if it could be an independent, you know, with all the utilities and the roadways. So Herrera Street will get built here. And then it'll connect to Sevilla Street. So this will be phase one, probably to about here or so. And then phase two, it'll do this section of Herrera Street and George Street. And then phase three would be connecting Scalstad Street and Herrera Street here. And then, so it'll be a new roadway coming in off of Euclid, but it wouldn't connect all the way down to High School Road until that additional right of way and roadway gets built and the intersection can be reconstructed.
Okay. Any questions? Diane? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question on this map here.
I'm all confused.
What does this mean, Susan?
Those are the current property owners.
Oh, okay.
So when a surveyor is doing this for a subdivision, you have to identify who they're joining.
Oh, okay.
Let me see that.
I don't-
Oh,
I
right,
don't
yeah.
think so.
I was like, okay. Do you have any questions for that?
No.
So on these, there will be, this. So once this is all done and approved by Red, how soon would they start going up?
So so they'll have 5 years, so that the preliminary plat approval means that the council is approving what's designed here. So, the developer will need to build the roadways for phase one, bring in the utilities and complete all of that work, and they have 5 years in which to do so. So, and once that part is done, they call in the engineers and the inspectors to make sure that it's done appropriately into city design standards. And once all of that gets signed off on, they come back in front of council for a final plat showing the as-built and how things have been constructed. And once council approves that final plat, it gets recorded at the county auditor's office. And that's when the one lot starts to become individual smaller lots. So there's no clear answer. There's a 5-year window because sometimes there's issues with supply chain and financing and market conditions and things like that. So it really depends on how quickly everything can gel for the developer. So if he's shovel ready, then you could be seeing something within a year, maybe sooner. I don't know construction timelines, and perhaps he can provide a better answer, more clarity to you.
So we can ask him some questions.
Hi, my name is Mario Lula, and I'm the, from New Beginning Project. Any questions you guys may have?
So, my question, Mario, is, as soon as this gets approved, when do you plan to start? Is it gonna sit there for a while, still, or?
Well, the next thing would be talk to my engineer to get the engineering going. And then as soon as they have it, bring it back to you guys to get it approved and then go from there. It just,
And these are single family homes?
yes,
And how many do you plan to make on the first?
I will once we get it, the utilities and everything, maybe sell most of the lots and build one ourselves and then keep going. So we could go to, all the phases.
And the only reason I'm asking, because there were questions that I seen that, were rising, of course, on social media, so, just for the record, just clarify how many homes, you plan on making, when do you plan on starting? And I think that was it, pretty much, on those.
The start date will, if, the engineers, they're at least 6 weeks out before I could get any plans to get the sewer, water and utilities in there, or just the plans. And then after that, we would, I think you guys have to approve it again we could put it in.
Okay.
So the engineer plans come to the city and then we usually would review those on your behalf. We'll provide you with comments. Our goal is to take his engineer's plans, compare them with the city's construction standards and kind of general engineering practice and provide comments. That process can be a pretty relatively quick process or relatively slow process, depending on how quickly, our comments are responded to and how much comments are
Okay.
needed, right? So if the plans are good and they're really close to your design standards, it can be a faster review. It's typically a 3 or 4 week review time for us to be able to return comments. So every time it has to come back in for a review, that just, has to.
Another question I know I've seen on there, and I know we've spoke about it, you've brought it up. How many hookups are available for new housing? That's always been, a question, so I believe,
Your you have capacity at your sewer treatment plant, right? This particular development will go into your lift station before it discharges into your sewer system but the analysis of your lift station that was done previously indicated there was a fair amount of capacity left in that. We can look at it more closely when we're doing the engineering plan review, but that's just in general numbers. And then water, I believe your last water system plan approval gave you on the order of 130. Yeah, it's like 129 or 126 is the number that's sticking in my head. It was enough to cover pending developments, right? So the developments that were currently in the works, you had enough water connections for that based on the approval letter UH gave you with your water system.
okay.
So
But once again, I'm just asking because I know that was the question that was asked, and people will come back and look at the video and, it's coming from
So,
professionals and,
the DOH, we did analysis, passed your water system plan, the DOH approved, and in their approval letter, they had that number that we unfortunately don't exactly remember, but it was in the order of 120 or 130 connections, additional connections.
thank you. No more questions and,
No.
okay, all right, thank you, Maria. Any comments? Any comments online? Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and, go ahead and close this out, on this part at 6:50. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go on to, so that closes the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting. We're gonna go ahead and go on to 7 old business. Approval of resolution 2025-15, an agreement with Yakima, Document Solutions for the printer services. So if I can get a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-15.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion by Vera, second by Diane, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. If I can get a motion on B, approving and authorizing Premier management and construction, Premier, what is it called?
Your maintenance,
Maintenance
property maintenance and construction company.
for the sprinkler system in the Governor's Park.
Do we have paperwork on that?
Yes.
Is that in our packet?
The
Yeah,
last
no,
one.
that's one, but not in this packet.
No.
So if we can just get a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the sprinkler system.
I had a motion by Vera,
I'll second it.
second by Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And we're gonna go ahead and go on to A, approval of resolution 2025-18. A, resolution approving the preliminary subdivision submitted by Mario Herrera, approximately 714 into 31 residential lots, hereby known as New Beginnings.
I make a motion on that approval resolution 2025-18, a resolution approving the primary subdivision submitted by Mario Herrera.
I have a motion by Diana,
I'll second it.
second by Arturo, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I have, go on to B, approval of ordinance 2025-19, 1196, an ordinance of the city of Mountain, Washington, rezoning parcels 230931 34001 and 230931 34481 from a residential district R1 to high density residential R2. I can get a motion.
I make a motion on approval of ordinance, 2025-1196. An ordinance of the city of Malcolm.
And a motion by Diane,
Second.
second by Vera, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and go on to, reports, for council members. Like template. C for the old business. It would be, oh, for the, visions, so we can, what's that?
That was already on there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was approved.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and, move on to 9 reports of, mayor and council members. So, any council member wanna have any comments? Diane,
None.
Barry?
I don't have any.
I got a question. The new code enforcer, is there a contract on him? What's he getting paid for, or how much?
He's one of our code enforcers, so I'll let the, sergeant go ahead and answer that.
What was the question?
Code enforcer, is he under a contract, and how much he can pay, how
No.
many hours? or-
So he's in a part-time, basically, we're not gonna put him on full-time because of course, we wanna get into the full-time employee and stuff like that, and he's well aware that he's only part-time and will put in X amount of hours, we did put in something like, 24, I believe, that's right, about 24 hours a week, so it is part-time, for him. So, yeah, what was your other question? Did that answer your question on the amount of hours?
Yeah, how many hours?
Yeah, so it's about 24.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
Okay, and, any staff reports?
We've seen an increase in, people buying their permits this year for the fireworks. We went up from last year, I believe, started at like 54, this year we're closer to around 70. Good to see that more people are purchasing them. Officers did a good job being out there patrolling, and Tootie was making sure we're putting out the fires, so.
Yeah.
Good year.
Great, great. So, I know, I was gonna kind of touch a little bit on the permits. I know in 2022, when I came on, there was approximately like maybe 20 to 22 permits. It went to 2023 was 57. 21, well, it was 54. I don't know, you went back as, yeah, I didn't find it, but this year we did 70 permits. So that, that is really good. Just letting people know that we need to enforce, and make sure that everybody is getting permits for not just, fireworks, but for siding, roofing, fencing, anything that they're doing on any kind of upgrade, that they come in and get their, permits. And also, we have, National Night coming up next month, so we're already working on that.
Where's
So
that gonna be?
that is, August 8th, and it is on a Friday evening. So, we will be doing that on the south side of town at that park. This year, we'll be celebrating on that side. And also, we will be having Summer Bash this Saturday here at, the Fazell Park. We have 7, grupos coming in, musical bands. We have, vendors coming in. We will be having a small parade. And think we have some cars coming in as well and horses. So, we start at 12:30, the parade, and then the live bands start at 1 and probably go to 9 or 10 at night. We do have, a big band coming in. So all the other bands are local, but the one big group that we do have coming in is, coming in from Seattle, I believe.
How the getting paid?
That one, when I went out and I got donations for that, and we have sponsors for that event. So we have, our sponsors will be on the back of our t-shirts. We already have our banner up at Center of Town. We are already doing our, announcements on the Máquina Musical, as of yesterday, so those went all week. And we do, like I said, we do have sponsors for that event. We
So
already-
we're not using any of those.
Nope.
city-
And any events that we have held for city, what I've done is, the years that I've been here, I go out and I get sponsors. I do not touch any city money. And, that's why we've already started with National Night Out already. I went out yesterday and got a yes, and just let me know what you need, so we'll be forwarding that, to sponsor, so they can help us. But yes, nothing is being used with city funds, so, you know, we are getting sponsors, and the sponsors were very generous with us this year, so we're pretty happy with that. So, anything else? Anything else? Okay, with that, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 6:59. Thank you.